I want to start off part 7 in this truth playlist by going back over some of the fake sports, specifically NFL. I searched YouTube and found some of these interesting videos that show the rigging of professional football. I wanted to include that along with some past predictions made by previous YouTubers that I used to win some money on the Super Bowl. One that I used for college basketball, professional football, basketball, and World Series. His channel has been removed, so I was unable to find any content from his past predictions. But I used 2 of them and was successful for the first time in my entire life with betting on football. So I wanted to include some of that since I had that footage and then go into some other truths, some of them foreshadowed in movies, the predictive programming, slowly getting you used to the technology that they're going to unleash in the future. They tell it to you in the movies. So check it out. I don't know if you've seen it, but hopefully not, and you'll find it educational.
Wilson. Way back into his own territory. Flips it ahead. Pass is caught. Wilson. Way right. Throws. It is incomplete. But a flag is thrown at the end of the play. Golden Tate was the target on the pass. And the flag came after the incompletion.
After the play was over, personal foul. Number 22 of San Francisco. This penalty occurs after fourth down of an incomplete pass. It will be San Francisco's ball, first and 10, after a 15-yard penalty.
But because it happened after the incompletion on a fourth down pass, it was considered a dead ball foul. 49ers get it. They'll take a knee. This will be a 7-point game at the half. Jim Harbaugh called Crabtree a couple of weeks ago the greatest catcher of all time because of his great hands.
Well, Byron Maxwell, he got away with a hold at the top of that route, but Crabtree fights through it. That's a perfectly thrown ball by Colin Kaepernick and an excellent catch.
This is Baldwin. Taking it out of the end zone. Baldwin gets a block. Doug Baldwin is going to take it inside the blitz coming. And in trouble is Wilson, who just throws it away. Pressure by Patrick Willis. 49ers want a flag for grounding. And Steratore will talk to the other officials and see if he's going to throw a flag.
But you get the pressure there by Willis and then Carlos Rogers.
And the ball did get back beyond the previous spot, fourth down in Seattle.
Carlos Rogers comes off the edge the opposite way, so
They're going to throw a flag as Andy Lee was hit and hit hard. Golden Tate on the return, but a flag is down and Lee gets up limping.
Running into the kicker, defense number 42, the penalty is declined. First down Seattle.
Was that the proper call?
No, really, and I think Jim Harbaugh was making the point with Gene Steratore. If you hit the plant leg, like they did here with the ankle turning over, that's roughing. If you hit the kicking leg, the leg that's up in the air, then that's a 5-yarder and not an automatic first down. So here when you see plant leg, ankle gets turned over, that is the 15-yard. Should have been roughing the kicker as opposed to running in.
Which would have been an automatic first down.
Absolutely.
coming in. They're going to give Marshawn Lynch enough, and they do. First down. Caught by the tight end Miller. He's to the 35. That's it. Fourth down coming up. We have 53-yard try. Flag is thrown. It's a free play. Into the end zone. The pass. Gonna run. Gets a block. First down. They're going to throw a flag for delayed game. And 3rd and 1 just became 3rd and 6.
Great game. Offense. Contact penalty. Second down.
Kaepernick is in trouble. Ball's out. Recovered. Play is live. Down inside the 10. Recovered by Bennett. Cliff Averill, he's able to get by Anthony Davis at right tackle, and he's the one who gets it loose. And Bennett then in pursuit gets the gratuitous bounce right into his hands. And how big was the delay of game penalty now, Joe? In all likelihood, they run the football on 3rd down in that situation. Now they're forced to throw it. They get a key turnover. The 12th man had a lot to do with that last sequence of events. Need a stop. Pass is caught, but short of the first down, the ball's out. Hurst made the catch, and then it looked like he lost it. Bowman's the guy that forced it. He's got the ball right there, right in his gut, but you see the left leg of Navarro Bowman get pinned underneath. And it might have been at that moment that he lost the football. But Bowman comes out of there with a ball. But as I look at Mike Pereira, he's telling us this is not reviewable.
Alright guys, I'm out here just taking a break in the Republic, wherever the fuck that is. And I wanted to give you my take on the 50th distraction that is rapidly approaching, if you believe in time. And I'm going to give you my prediction from what the signs out there showed me who is going to win the Super Bowl. Who gives a fuck about sports? But I got to show you this. It's all fake, so I just go by what I see. So here are the signs, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this right now. So, as you can see, this is the January 25th edition of USA Today. And so I'm just going to break this down for you real quick. So we got Peyton Manning here, holding up the 5. A, it's for the 5th age. This is the number of man. Also, this happens to be Manning. Okay, and look, he's looking right up at Lucifer, who is looking right at the USA, which has frozen over. You see, hell has frozen over. And you see how this makes a perfect upside down triangle. Also, just throwing this in, this is the Man of Perdition as the mask is being kicked off. Go check out the Groxed Ones channel if you want to hear more about that, but that's pertinent to this in ways that I really don't want to go into right now. But as you can see, they have, and this isn't necessarily Manning and Cam doing these things, their likeness is owned. Okay, A, they have legal names, so they don't exist, but the NFL owns them. They can portray them however they want. So of course they can rig this up. You think he wants to be looking at Lucifer and be part of this? He's probably not a bad guy. I doubt he's a Luciferian. But apparently he is, as he hails to Lucifer. Right now, everybody, the whole scenario right now is that he's going to go out on a bad note, you know, as he did before or whatever. I don't really watch sports, but everyone thinks that they're going to pull away with it and destroy everybody. I say that the upset will win, as the number of Manning salutes Lucifer as hell freezes over. And to me, this is a sign. The powers that be are showing the people who can have eyes to see it that the upset is in, the betting is done, and the game is rigged and fixed, and I'm pulling for Denver to win this game. Denver is very, very Luciferian anyways. The Dayton International, or the Denver International Airport, all that stuff, the Bronco statue and how satanic and Luciferian it is. It has its roots in this stuff, okay guys? So this is all positioned to work out. I'm pulling the upset out. Today is actually the 28th. So this paper's a little bit old. I haven't had a chance to do this video just yet, but I wanted to get this prediction out there before the Super Bowl started, just so you guys could see what signs I see that are shown to me. And obviously this is one. I mean, there's no coincidence here. He's looking directly at Lucifer, while Lucifer's looking directly at the USA as hell is freezing over, and the rest is his story. I mean, his story. Wait, it's my story. I guess it's a mystery. Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is Mark D'Illy. So anyways, because of my successful pick of Super Distraction 50, a lot of people have been messaging me and commenting me, asking me who I got for the 51 distraction this year. I didn't catch yesterday's paper. When I got it this morning, along with today's paper, I immediately noticed a lot of interesting things. If you guys caught my video for the 50 distraction prediction, it had something where it basically had a picture down here alluding, you know, with the composition, kind of like this one. So I'll link that in the description below. You can check it out, because this prediction is actually going to be very much aligned with how I did my last one. Very little gematria, very little anything other than my own insight and what I let the universe show me. So having said that, let me just say, when I first looked at this picture, obviously this is fake, no blood. This composition is being used right over his right shoulder. It says sitting out Bulls. So right away I get a connection to Tom Brady, who was sitting out, and a connection to the Super Bowl. Right here, right parallel from it, you have the number of Tom Brady, and you have a connection to Donald Trump right here with the 48. Now the Patriots, you know, just like the narrative with the election, the Patriots rose up. You know, Tom Brady was sitting out. He was kind of fucked over in the beginning. He came back, and now they're going to rise up. And exactly how Trump ended up winning the election. Now, if you follow his finger line up here, obviously he's got the 1313 in his name. He's pointing up here right to the 13, but he's pointing up here to the Patriots. You can check that. Again, there's a connection with Trump and the Patriots winning. The fact that Trump won, I think, alludes to the fact that the Patriots are going to win. Now, again, you have the 48 and the 12. And you have another Donald Trump equals 48. You know, so here, so you start here with Super Bowl 51, and literally you follow this up to the Patriots. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Again, you can even come down here and you see the 69. You can follow that all the way up, and it gives you another 69, corner to corner. This is all about composition, and subconsciously you make these connections even though you might not see what you're seeing or understand what you're seeing. Look at this. The truck plows into Christmas revelers. I mean, it's such a stupid fucking way to make it like a little joke, if this was even real. As I said, no blood. They don't mind running fake news stories. Today's date, 12/20/16, actually equals 48 as well, to go with Trump. And if that's right here, Trump, Patriots, they're right here next to each other. What went wrong? WWW is equals 69. So like I said, it just brings you up. It's good continuity and it's good composition. So what else did we have? So this entire line here is going through a deadly day. And the deadly day, referring to football teams and this, but as far as football is concerned, in Turkey. Okay, so Thanksgiving Day games, the big games. Who played in last year's Thanksgiving games? The Vikings and the Lions. A lot of people picked the Vikings, they're out. The Skins, no one picked them, and the Cowboys are out. The Steelers and the Colts are out. Denver's obviously out. North Carolina is about to be repealed, they're out. Who does that leave you with that can go against the Patriots? Well, what else is on this page that can allude to another? Oh, let's look right here. Hedge fund execs charge $1 billion scam. This is the biggest scam since Bernie Madoff. New York. Now, New York, oh, so what? The Giants? Well, they allude to the Energy Stadium. And just to make sure that you know, they have to make sure and tell you, Hail Mary time. So, as I said, this game is going to go right along with the presidential election. Trump and the Patriots are going to rise up to beat the Giants from New York, or the DNC. You know, you can draw parallels to that entire narrative, as I said. These people are redundant, they're repetitive, they are not very creative, which is why a lot of times their storylines match other things going on, because they're you know, boring with their redundancy. And once you saw what was going on with Trump, I did, not that many people could ignore gematria, and they went with Clinton. Only a handful of us went with Trump, which is, you know, I was one of them. Go check my videos. But yeah, so you can see out of this entire paper, I surmise that it will be Patriots over the Giants. That's it for today.
Awake. Awake. Trying to awaken the people. Awaken the people from what?
New statistics about suicide in the U.S., and the results were sobering and stunning.
The suicide rate was up sharply among 10 to 14-year-old girls, tripling in the past 15 years.
Depression that causes most people to take their own lives.
What is it that we're trying to be awakened from?
And now people have gradually gone from the corner bar mentality to I'm going to do some drugs to escape the situation that they're in.
we in this audience, I'm sure, sense that America needs to be awakened. But has it occurred to us what we need to be awakened from? Just a night's sleep? I think not, because it's not that hard to wake somebody up from a night's sleep. We're dealing with a situation where you got to keep shaking and shaking, slapping them. But we can't seem to wake up. Well, what are we trying to be awakened from? What is it we're trying to awaken our countrymen from? Anybody have an idea? How about a spell? Has it ever occurred to us that we in America are under a spell? I'm talking about a spell of a sorcerer, a spell of an enchanter, a spell of a charmer. Charm in Webster's 1828, and it says, number 1, to subdue or control by incantation or secret influences.
And here it is, the greatest advance in television since color television itself. See all color shows in living color. Once you've adjusted fine-tuning for each channel.
So there we see that it means that you can subdue a people, you can control a people by secret influence. That goes on to say under charm, to subdue by secret power, especially by that which pleases and delights the mind. So under charm there it says power to subdue opposition and gain the affections. But remember in the story of Wizard of Oz, how the Wicked Witch was having difficulty subduing her opponent. And finally she said, I know what I shall do. I take this crystal ball. She spreads her hands across the crystal ball and she creates a lovely poppy field. Oh, so beautiful. And Dorothy, the lion, the scarecrow, the Tin Man, going across this lovely poppy field, fall to what? Sleep. Is it possible that that's not just story? Is it possible that the crystal ball sits in the living room of every home practically in America? And that it comes from a place called Hollywood?
And one of the biggest tools in the hands of the masters who run this world is Hollywood. Hollywood is an incredible story. I've said this, and maybe many hearing me now have heard me say this, but I'll say it again, that the white man's establishment comes from Europe. And in northern, southern, well, all four, northeast, south, and western Europe, even at the time of the Roman Empire and before, that whole section of Europe that we call the center for the white man's presence on the earth was quite literally ruled over. Ancient Europe was ruled over by a priesthood called the Druids, and the Druids were they were the ministers, the priests, the judges, the lawyers. They were the religious leaders. So there was a priesthood that dominated Europe. It still does. Europe is still a Druidic country. And America is a Druidic country. And unless you understand the Druidic system, then you're never going to figure out what's going on in America and England. But one of the most important symbols in the Druid system was a magic wand, like Merlin, the magician with the magic wand. And also the orchestra leaders and conductors always have a magic wand. And you have better play to the tune of the master. He directs you to play, and he directs you to stop with the magic wand. So you're dancing to his music, okay? Magic wands were always made out of the wood of a holly tree. It's made out of Hollywood. And Hollywood is a Druidic establishment. And the symbols, the words, the terms, the stories
that cast a spell on you.
So that people go out from the movie and think in their minds, this is the way you normally would react to a situation, the way that the guy in the movie did. And so that's why today, in the Western civilization, especially in the West, our ability to work with each other and live together as humans is so screwed up. Because we've been watching so much television and so many movies and so much silliness coming out of Hollywood, so much violence and sex and drugs and all the rest of it, that people have no idea in the world how to live anymore. They've lost their humanity.
Enjoy the Magic Berry Hollies.
A disturbing image hidden inside a toy purchased at a local dollar store.
News Center 7's Lauren Clark with why a Kettering mother wants it off the shelves.
A mother bought her toddler this princess wand at the dollar store behind me. Imagine her surprise when the curious little girl peeled back the foil to find this image of a girl cutting herself inside. The packaging promises fairies and, quote, wonderful music, but I doubt many people would call this music. It's difficult to see the image clearly in the dark, but if you pull back the foil, there's no mistaking it.
And if you look close enough, it's not a drawing. It's an actual picture of the girl slitting her wrist. I'm outraged over it. I want to know how they think that is suitable for a child.
Nicole Allen said she found the wand for her 2-year-old daughter in the toy section of the $1 store on Linden Avenue last weekend.
There was Barbie dolls on one side and baby dolls on the other side. And these were right in the middle of where they were at.
The owner of the store told me parents need to pay more attention to what they're buying for their children.
The name on it, it says Evil Stick. So from the name, I would, if I'm buying it for my kid, and I have a lot of kids, and I have young ones, I would inspect it before I even give it to them.
He also said that while he would not buy the toy for a toddler, he thinks it's okay for older kids.
For a 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, I mean, they see that on TV every day.
But Nicole and other shoppers at the store disagree.
You don't want to think about little girls picking that up and thinking this is normal, you know, or funny or interesting or any of those things.
The owner of the store tells me he will not be taking the item off of his shelf unless he receives a complaint directly from a customer.
A sorcerer is a witch that casts a spell on you.
Cat Williams is at the center of yet another lawsuit, making it his third violence-related incident in less than a month. This time, the comedian is being accused of imprisoning and torturing a woman named Jamila Majesty after inviting her to his home. According to the lawsuit, Williams and his female housemates assaulted Majesty during a witchcraft-inspired beating, which lasted 3 hours. Majesty is claiming that the attack started when Williams became angry that she used his bathroom, and that the beating was so bad she repeatedly lost consciousness during the attack. She was then given ice packs to revive herself, only so that the assault could continue. Majesty also claims that Williams burned her face with a lit cigarette and slapped her several times before punching her in the ribs. This is where it gets weird. In the court documents, Majesty noted seeing what she describes as a Wiccan book, something evil, with teachings on sorcery and spells on Williams' bed. Majesty also recalls a fire going in the house all the while this was happening. As a result of the beating, Majesty suffered facial scarring, broken ribs, and other extreme physical and emotional damage. Earlier this month, Williams was accused by several women for holding them at gunpoint and stealing.
Once in a very long while, a truly remarkable product comes our way that challenges what we think and can dramatically improve our lives. Hello, I'm Kris Jenner. In the next few moments, you're going to discover a product that is so powerful, it can enhance your life forever. And I have it right here. These are Wicks of Wisdom. And it's the special formulas added to these unique candles that make them so amazing. The powerful effects that they can bring to the people who burn them are truly extraordinary. So open your mind to the possibility of making your dreams and your wishes come true. Do you have a question for Linda?
Yes, Linda, is it true that I can use the soulmate candle to make my relationship more passionate?
Well, Soulmate Power Candles not only enhance your passion, intimacy, communication, it can also help you draw in somebody new for your love life as well.
Scott Disick began dating Courtney back in 2006, and their relationship has been on and off throughout the years. But 3 kids later, the couple has officially broken up again. A combination of their breakup and the deaths of both of Scott's parents have caused him to become depressed. He threatened to commit suicide, and he continues to struggle with his addiction to drugs and alcohol.
Wow, Kathleen's story was so great, and she was able to move all the negativity right out of her life.
By using the Good Luck Power Candles, it helped to propel her forward by moving the blocks and obstacles away from everything that was going on in her personal life.
And what's your name? Karen. Karen, do you have a question for Linda?
Yes. Can I do anything to change my luck?
I get this all the time. People want to change their luck. They feel they're jinxed, hexed, they got bad luck, born with a black cloud around them, whatever. I hear it all. I just call it like a schmutz removal.
Like, I know this sounds crazy. I don't know, I just feel like we need new male energy.
Linda Salvin emerged as a world-famous psychic, medium, and healer. Spiritually charged ingredients. Each set of 3 candles comes with Linda Salvin's scientifically blended herbs, exotic powders, exclusive essential oils, and specially designed parchment paper. As Linda's special gift to you, she's personally selected 4 spiritually charged gemstones: clear quartz for success, rose quartz for attracting more love, amethyst for good luck, and hematite for health and wellness.
I needed some help finding a true love, and so I lit them, and it happened. And then my girlfriend and I had a bet. No, it's not going to work. And it was supposed to happen in either August or October, and it happened in July. And I was really happy.
Lamar Odom's drug-induced coma that almost took his life.
Introducing Linda Salvin's Wicks of Wisdom. These spiritual candles can help you tap into universal energies.
So by burning the money and success power candles, the doors can open for more opportunities, give you options, and help you achieve what you want to through different avenues.
I know that these candles do produce miracles.
Dear Linda, I have to thank you.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
Well, you're already booked to do that, honey.
I can't travel that much. Well, I'm like scared. I'm freaking out because of these paralysis things. I'm scared to fall asleep because it keeps happening to me. It's almost like, it almost feels like my heart.
Nightmarish experience of sleep paralysis. They wake up from a deep sleep and are fully conscious of their surroundings. However, they also are paralyzed. And there's a sexual component to this presence in that it is attempting to rape you.
I'm 35. Have you ever had those bizarre nightmares that seem like, you know, they just won't go away? You're paralyzed, you can't move, you can't speak.
Yeah, there's actually a name for this, okay? It's called sleep paralysis. Kirsten Cole's here to shed some light on
stories of the incubus and succubus, demons that appear at night. There's often some fear involved, but you cannot resist or do anything about it.
What's been going on? This stupid sleep paralysis thing is like really getting to me.
Why is it that sleep paralysis always makes me feel like I've been molested by a demon?
Body's still asleep. So like you wake up, but nothing can move.
Can't speak.
Nothing.
I have to ask you, have you slept with a ghost?
I did go to the Bone Zone with a ghost.
Might these sexual predators be simply an ancient myth? Or could the legends be based on historical documentation?
Harvey Weinstein is expelled by the Motion Picture Academy. They're responsible for the Oscars. It follows growing list of accusations of sexual harassment and assault.
Then he comes back out and he's fully naked.
And he just kept asking me to watch him masturbate.
I said no 1,000,000 times.
My heart was racing and I was very scared.
The wall of silence surrounding Harvey Weinstein officially collapsing. Today, new accusations of sexual assault, including rape. Even Hollywood A-listers Angelina Jolie and Gwyneth Paltrow raising their voices, adding to the avalanche of accusations.
On a certain point, you know, you have a
enough witnesses that it becomes very difficult to deny.
Paltrow once considered the first lady of Miramax, Weinstein's first studio, winning an Oscar for Shakespeare in Love.
Good morning, my lord.
I would like to thank Harvey Weinstein and everybody at Miramax Film.
You're a prostitute. You're doing things for money. You're doing things for your career, and it's being pushed onto you, or you're jumping to it. That's what this is. So that's exactly what I meant. I meant every single word that I tweeted out.
What type of people were they making you sleep with? Are you talking about music executives, people high up in the industry, friends?
Sure. No, executives and managers and agents and other artists that are on the label. If you don't want to sleep with an executive, they'll pass you to that. Or sometimes they just continue to pass the girl. So she's just passed around.
And this was well known in the industry.
It's safe to say when I sit down with 90% of the producers that now want to work with me, and they go, oh, is it true? We heard.
Well, Weinstein Gate has opened up the floodgates to the truth about Hollywood. Stuff that's been reported on for a long time, alleged for a long time. It's all coming out now. But Kaya Jones, this morning, she got on Twitter awfully bright and early and started tweeting about her experience in the music industry.
10 plus years of being in this business and knowing what goes on behind the scenes and seeing how women and young boys are treated.
The pedophile stuff was about to break, and they knew the pedophile stuff was about to break. So they go, well, let's just give them Harvey Weinstein, because isn't it amazing how they all went after him at once? It's almost like everybody in media, in Hollywood, in every industry said, hey, let's all go after Harvey. Let's all attack him at once. Why did they do that? Well, because then they'll say, well, we're cleaning up the industry, we're taking things back. But really, this is about pedophilia and the Hollywood pedophiles being exposed. This is really about calling out the pedophilia in Hollywood. And they said, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. So there's an amazing video that's going to touch into this point now that Corey Feldman, a very brave man, had resurfaced now. Because remember, when I was growing up, I'm 39, the two Coreys were the big deal. The Corey Feldman and Corey Haim were in every film together. They're two Coreys. They were the coolest kids growing up. Corey Feldman, of course, was in Goonies. They were great. And then it turns out that Corey Haim became a drug addict and killed himself, and people said, why? Well, because he was molested by Hollywood pedophiles. And Corey Feldman on Barbara Walters tries to confront the pedophilia issue. And let's listen to what Barbara Walters tells a victim of pedophiles.
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're pedophiles?
Yes.
And that they're still in this business?
Yes.
That's what, and that's what you're saying in your book. When you talk to when you talk to
and
parents,
they don't want me here right now. Trust
Corey,
me. They want me dead.
There are a lot of parents out here who want to put their kids in this business. Their kids are cute, they're great actors. What would you say to a parent who just has the best of intentions, who's coming here with their child? If you're saying that there's a lot of predators in this industry.
It's a many-feathered bird. Okay? Be careful what you wish for. That's what I'll tell you. You know, don't go into it with naivety. Don't go into it thinking that it's all roses and sunglasses.
You're damaging an entire industry.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to say that it's a very important, serious topic.
You said that there was one gentleman in the industry who did not take advantage of you. He was not a pedophile. You said it was Michael Jackson.
Of all people.
You're damaging an entire industry. Barbara Walters, we can now confirm, is a pedophile apologist, just like Meryl Streep, who got up and
she's a pedophile collaborator.
No question. I mean, that video that should be on every news network tonight. That should be the biggest story of the weekend, is Barbara Walters is a pedophile enabler, collaborator, apologist, supporter. There's no language that can be too strong to describe that clip where she's literally shaming a victim of pedophilia. Well, how dare you go after an entire industry? And then people wonder why these kids are afraid to come forward. There had been, of course, other people tweeting out Terry Crews had been sexually assaulted by a male producer. Terry Crews, of course, 240 pounds.
Dramatic transformation for Angus T. Jones. The former child star of 2.5 Men is opening up now about why he left the hit sitcom, saying his faith trumped stardom and a huge paycheck. ABC's Lindsay Janis has the story.
A hit show, millions of dollars, and the Hollywood status of highest paid child actor on TV.
Missy? What are you doing here?
This morning, former 2.5 Men star Angus.
I mean, Jake from 2.5 Men means nothing. He is not an existent character. He's 2.5 Men. If you watch 2.5 Men, please stop watching 2.5 Men. I'm on 2.5 Men. I don't want to be on it. Please stop watching it. Please stop filling your head with Phil. Please. It's you know, people say it's just entertainment. The fact that it's entertainment, it's do some research on the effects of television in your brain, and I promise you, you'll have a decision. You'll have a decision to make when it comes to television, and especially with what you watch on television. It's bad news. It's bad news. So that's coming. I don't know if it means any more coming from me, but you might not have heard it otherwise. So just watch out. Watch out, because a lot of people don't like to think about how deceptive the enemy is. It's way more. He's been doing this for a lot longer than any of us have been around. So we can't play around. There's no playing around when it comes to eternity. Let Christ work in your life, and try and be a filter for His love, because otherwise, for myself, if I'm not doing His work, I don't want to. I might as well just die now. I might as well, God could take me now. God could, even if if I'm doing more harm than good, or if I'm doing any harm, I don't want to be here. I don't want to contribute to the enemy's plan, and it's one of those things. Like, we can, if we're lukewarm, and if we're behaving like the Laodiceans, it might cause, it is going to cause a lot more harm, because people will see us and be like, oh, I can be a Christian and be on a show like 2.5 Men. You cannot be a true God-fearing person and be on a television show like that. I know I can't. I'm not okay with what I'm learning, what the Bible says, and being on that television show. So, you go all or nothing. If I'm not ready right now, I'm ready to be ready.
Amen. I like that. Amen.
So, yeah. Amen. The name of the game right now is compromise. Compromise, meet in the middle to get things done. That's the name of the game right now. And according to the Bible, when that happens, we're no longer standing for anything. We're no longer on the right, on the side of the truth, because we've, a little leaveneth the whole lump. And so you're either hot or you're cold.
Amen.
That's, we're in almost a period of the Laodicean church. We really, we need to pick our side now. You need to pick your side. You need to be 100% on that. You need to be 100% or nothing at all. You might, if you're going to be for the world, be for the world. You're doing so much harm being half in and half out. You're harming yourself, and you're harming those others who might actually want to know the truth. So, choose you this day whom you will follow.
Bible says in James chapter 4 and verse 4, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore shall be the friend of the world is the enemy of God. And what I really appreciate about Angus is that he's identifying with the fact that he cannot be a friend of the world. He's either going to serve God or serve this world. And he's taking his stand. And you're going to see that more so even as the days go forward, because I'm thoroughly convicted that I'm with the brother that the Spirit of God is clearly leading. And you're going to see that in the very near future. He's taken his stand on the right. He's walked away from it. You need to make a decision. What are you going to do? This is your opportunity. As always, this is a forerunner. It's Angus as well. Whether you like it or not, the truth is the truth.
Music for the people, Jesus, music for
though my arm is cut off here, the nerve endings that would have went down here to work with the hand, they've been taken and reinverted into different muscles into the stump. When you think about something, the brain, when it sends it down the nerve, it's a minute electrical charge. It comes down wherever the nerve ending ends, well then the myobands here will pick up that jiggle. With where it's at, you know, it's the myoband signaling a signal
to cybernetic.
The promise of a better future. We now have the choice to free ourselves from any kind of limitation.
Strength, power, speed. Now I focus on what really matters.
Have these augmentations really been tested?
There are people who say that what is happening is unnatural, that we're playing God. But people were scared of electricity, and where would the world be without that?
What happens if... And this is how the device looks. And then we plug it in.
That part goes into the brain,
This
right?
part goes into the brain. The light goes into our device, which goes directly into the brain.
That was the story we did from MIT last year. Its researchers have developed a revolutionary interface, enabling a connection between a human brain and a machine. But Professor Anikeva, in charge of that research, insisted that this technology had purely scientific incline and for now could only be used for studies of the gray matter or injecting medication into ill brain cells. The US military now looks to take the neurotechnology to a completely next level. The Guardian reports that it basically wants to create cyborgs by connecting computers to soldiers' heads. The research is conducted by the US military's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, which we know too well by these robot videos. The new program is called Neural Engineering System Design, or NESD.
Dr. Michio Kaku, he's the author of The Future of the Mind, the scientific quest to understand, enhance, and empower the mind. Doctor, it's great to have you here. It's amazing to think, and as we see in that film Her, and the question that Samantha, played by Scarlett Johansson, posing, is this real or programming? That type of scenario we're not that far off from, and that's what you explore with this book. Explain to us where we are in the understanding of the brain.
Well, Hollywood gets it first, right? But remember the movie The Matrix, when you push a button, become a karate master? Or Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where memories are simply put into mind? We're on the border now, the brink, the threshold of initiating all these wondrous things. Think about it. telepathy, reading minds, telekinesis, moving objects with the mind, uploading memories, even photographing a dream. These are things that are being done in the laboratory today.
It was a top secret government project.
Pac-Man eyes, all of them.
Designed to create the perfect soldier.
No man would ever again have to die in the service of his country.
Cryogenically preserved.
Okay, guys, memory clearance.
Genetically enhanced.
How's the picture?
Pretty ugly.
Very fun, very fun.
Programmed to obey.
They're at the tower. Okay, here we go.
He was programmed from birth to be part of the most invincible army in history. But like all scientific advancements,
They're practically manufactured using DNA profiles.
he was destined to become obsolete.
More endurance, better hand-eye. It's a whole different standard.
You could design your baby's features, would you? According to LA's Fertility Institute, prospective parents can select eye color, hair color, and more.
The technology is called pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, or PGD. It was created to screen for disease, then used for gender selection. Now this clinic plans to allow parents to select physical traits.
I would predict that by next year we will have determined sex with 100% certainty on a baby, and we will have determined eye color with about an 80% accuracy rate.
We allow this and we cross this crucial ethical line, which has been put down in the line in the sand by governments and ethicists around the world for the last 20 years, that we simply shouldn't genetically alter human beings. Once we cross that line, we will inevitably, step by step, slowly, will get to that future that everybody wants to avoid of the genetically modified design of babies.
Has the face of a boy, can smile, look sad, even angry.
Diego-san is part of a series to understand enough about how humans move and interact so that we can imagine building humanoid robots.
We've had 8 years to improve on the original model. At the time of the heating, they weren't one of the toys. But since then, what enormous progress.
Learning not just how to express human emotions, but develop relationships with people. What may sound like the plot of a sci-fi movie is right now in the works at UCSD with Diego-san.
The way we teach Diego-san to make a good smile is not by telling him, move this one, move this one, move this one. What we do is we record a lot of infants smiling. And then we take that data and we feed it to Diego-san.
The technology works similar to the one already in use in social media websites to recognize your friends' faces. For example, if Diego-san detects a smiling face, it can smile back.
So you can imagine now a situation where there is another pretty smart device that learns to interact with you, can
June 10th, 2011.
And good evening, I'm Juju Chang. Science fiction almost got it right. Face recognition technology has become part of daily life, but except instead of controlling security access to top secret spy facilities, the technology is being used to identify the people in that crazy picture from last weekend's beach party. It's all happening, of course, on Facebook, which has been quietly using face recognition software on every photo you upload. And today, a privacy group filed a complaint against Facebook with a government regulatory agency. Here's Nick Schifrin.
Facebook knows me. It knows my friends. It tracks what I like, where I live. It knows my sisters are Christy and Laura. But now, Facebook also knows, well, my face. Of all its 500 million users, it can recognize my face out of everyone else's. Not just mine. If you're on Facebook, Facebook can recognize your face too. Here's how. While we've been uploading more than 20 billion photos, Facebook has been making biometric fingerprints of all our mugs. And now, Facebook has a massive collection of our faces, probably the largest collection in the world.
Over the last decade, we've seen a surge in the amount of surveillance cameras being implemented into cities across the United States. And with more cameras, naturally comes less privacy. But what if you could do something about that? One artist says you can. He's developed something called the You Are Me Personal Surveillance Identity Prosthetic. It is a realistic 3D printed mask of his face made from pigmented hard resin. The mask has a photorealistic rendering of skin tone, contours, and facial hair. So how exactly does this ward off surveillance? Joining me to discuss is the man behind the You Are Me project, interdisciplinary artist Leo Salvaggio.
Hello, Mr. Yakamoto. Welcome back to the Gap. How those assorted tank tops work out for you?
Mr. Yakamoto.
Hey, Miss Belfort, did you come back for another pair of the chamois lace-ups?
By that I mean that I develop robots that are characters, but also robots that will eventually come to empathize with you. So we're starting with a variety of technologies that have converged into these conversational character robots that can see faces, make eye contact with you, make a full range of facial expressions, understand speech, and begin to model how you're feeling and who you are and build a relationship with you. I developed a series of technologies that allowed robots to make more realistic facial expressions than previously achieved on lower power, which enabled walking biped robots, the first androids. So it's a full range of facial expressions simulating all the major muscles in the human face, running on very small batteries, extremely lightweight. The materials that allowed the battery-operated facial expressions is a material that we call Frubber, and it actually has three major innovations in the material that allowed this to happen. One is hierarchical pores, and the other is a macromolecular nanoscale porosity in the material. He's starting to walk. This is at the Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. I built the head, they built the body. So the goal here is to achieve sentience in machines, and not just sentience, but empathy. We're working with the Machine Perception Laboratory at the UC San Diego. They have this really remarkable facial expression technology that recognizes facial expressions, what facial expressions you're making. It also recognizes where you're looking, your head orientation. We're emulating all the major facial expressions and then controlling it with the software that we call the character engine. And here's a little bit of the technology that's involved in that.
Don't let your heart be troubled, don't be afraid. To the broken hearted, their wishes paid. Never been born, never been torn, never sinned, never disobeyed. I know you think there's no hope, no, but that ain't true. Jesus saved.
And believe. It is you. Because you see me, you believe.